Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English with Aurora. I'm so happy to see you here today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. You're in the right place to improve your English in a fun and practical way. We upload a brand new English learning video every single day to help you become more confident and fluent. Today, we're going to learn 50 essential English phrases for traveling. Whether you're at the airport, checking into a hotel, ordering food at a restaurant, or asking for directions, these phrases will make your travel experience so much easier and more enjoyable. By the end of this video, you'll improve not only your listening skills, but also your speaking and fluency. You'll feel prepared and confident for your next trip. Trust me, knowing these phrases will change everything about how you travel. Now, before we start, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. We're here every single day to help you reach your English goals. Also, grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to write these down and practice them. Are you ready? Let's dive in and learn these 50 amazing travel phrases together. Let's start with the airport. The airport can feel overwhelming, especially if English isn't your first language. But don't worry, these phrases will make everything smooth and easy. The first phrase you need to know is, where is the check-in counter? This is super important when you first arrive at the airport. You need to find the right place to check in for your flight. Imagine you walk into the airport with your luggage and you're not sure where to go. You can walk up to an airport employee and say, "Excuse me, where is the check-in counter for British Airways?" They'll point you in the right direction or tell you which terminal to go to. You might also hear them say, "It's on the second floor," or "Follow the signs to Terminal 3. This phrase is polite, clear, and will help you start your journey without stress. Another phrase you'll use right away is, "I'd like to check in, please." Once you find the check-in counter, you'll need to tell the airline staff that you're ready to check in. It's simple and direct. Imagine you're standing in front of the counter. The staff member smiles and says, "Good morning. How can I help you?" You reply, "Good morning. I'd like to check in, please." They'll ask for your passport and booking confirmation. You hand them over and they'll process your check-in. It's a smooth and easy interaction when you know exactly what to say. Here's another one that's really useful. "Can I have a window seat?" Or you might prefer, "Can I have an aisle seat?" When you check in, the staff will often ask if you have a seating preference. If you like looking out the window during the flight, you say, "Can I have a window seat, please?" If you prefer easy access to the aisle, maybe because you want to stretch your legs or use the restroom easily, you say, "Can I have an aisle seat, please?" This small phrase makes your flight so much more comfortable because you get to choose where you sit. Now let's talk about luggage. A phrase you'll definitely need is, "How many bags can I check?" Airlines have different rules about luggage. Some let you check one bag for free, others charge for every bag. Before you get to the counter or right when you arrive, you can ask, "Excuse me, how many bags can I check?" The staff will tell you the limit and if there are any extra fees. You might hear, "You can check 2 bags for free," or "You can check 1 bag and the second one will cost $50. Knowing this phrase helps you avoid surprises and plan ahead. Another important phrase is this bag okay as carry-on? Sometimes you're not sure if your bag is small enough to bring on the plane. You don't want to get stopped at the gate. So you can ask the check-in staff, "Is this bag okay as carry-on?" They'll measure it or just look at it and tell you, "Yes, that's fine," or "I'm sorry, that's too big." You'll need to check it. This saves you time and trouble later. Let's move to security. Security can be stressful, but these phrases will help. One phrase you might need is, "Do I need to take off my shoes?" Security rules are different in every country. In some places, you have to remove your shoes, in others you don't. If you're not sure, just ask the security officer, "Do I need to take off my shoes?" They'll tell you yes or no. Simple as that. You can also ask, "Do I need to take out my laptop?" These little questions make the process so much smoother. After security, you'll want to find your gate. The phrase you need is, "Where is gate B12? Replace B12 with your actual gate number. Imagine you've just passed through security and you look at your boarding pass. It says gate B12, but you have no idea where that is. You walk up to an information desk or another airport employee and say, "Excuse me, where is gate B12?" They'll give you directions like go straight and turn left, or take the escalator down and follow the signs. This phrase is simple but incredibly helpful when you're in a huge airport and feeling a little lost. Another great phrase is, what time does boarding start? Sometimes your boarding pass shows the departure time, but not the boarding time. You want to know when you need to be at the gate. You can ask a staff member at the gate area, "Excuse me, what time does boarding start?" They might say, "Boarding starts at 2:30, or "We'll begin boarding in about 20 minutes. This helps you manage your time. Maybe you have time to grab a coffee or use the restroom before boarding begins. Now let's practice a short conversation at the airport. Imagine you arrive at the airport and approach the check-in counter. You say, "Good morning. I'd like to check in, please." The staff member replies, "Good morning. May I see your passport and booking confirmation?" You hand them over and say, "Here you go. Can I have a window seat, please?" The staff member types on the computer and says, "Sure, I have a window seat available. How many bags are you checking today?" You respond, "Just one bag." "Is this bag okay as carry-on?" The staff member looks at your carry-on and says, "Yes, that's fine. Here's your boarding pass. Your gate is C5 and boarding starts at 11:15. You smile and say, "Thank you so much." This conversation shows you exactly how to navigate check-in confidently and naturally. Let's move on to the airplane. Once you're on the plane, you'll need a few phrases to communicate with the flight attendants. The first one is, "Excuse me, can I have some water, please?" Staying hydrated on a flight is important, and flight attendants are always happy to help. You simply press the call button or wait until they walk by, and you say, "Excuse me, can I have some water, please?" They'll bring you a cup of water right away. You can replace water with juice, coffee, tea, or whatever you'd like. It's polite and clear. Another useful phrase is, "Can I get a blanket, please?" Planes can get really cold, especially on long flights. If you're feeling chilly, don't suffer in silence. Just say to the flight attendant, "Excuse me, can I get a blanket, please?" They'll bring you one if they have any available. You might also say, "Can I get a pillow, please?" These small comforts make your flight so much better. Here's one more. Where is the restroom? Sometimes on a big plane, especially if you're seated far from the restroom, you might not know where it is. You can ask a flight attendant, "Excuse me, where is the restroom?" They'll point you in the right direction. You can also say, "Is the restroom at the front or the back?" These little questions are completely normal and help you feel more comfortable during your flight. Now let's talk about the hotel. When you arrive at your hotel, the first thing you'll do is check in. The phrase you need is, "I have a reservation under the name Smith." Replace Smith with your actual last name. Imagine you walk up to the hotel front desk. The receptionist smiles and says, "Good evening. How can I help you?" You reply, "Good evening. I have a reservation under the name Smith." The receptionist will type your name into the computer, find your booking, and say something like, "Yes, here it is." "Can I see your ID and credit card, please?" You hand them over and the process continues smoothly. This phrase is polite and efficient. Another phrase you'll use often is, "What time is breakfast served?" Many hotels offer complimentary breakfast, and you want to know when you can enjoy it. After checking in, you can ask, "Excuse me, what time is breakfast served?" The receptionist might say, "Breakfast is served from 7 to 10 in the morning," or "We serve breakfast between 6:30 and 9:30. You can also ask, "Where is the breakfast area?" This way you know exactly where to go in the morning, and you won't miss out on a great meal. Here's another important one. Can I have a wake-up call at 7 a.m.? If you're worried about oversleeping and missing an important meeting, tour, or flight, you can ask the front desk to call your room in the morning. You say, "Can I have a wake-up call at 7 a.m., please?" They'll confirm and say, "Of course. We'll call your room at 7 a.m. This is a helpful service that many hotels offer, and it gives you peace of mind. A very common phrase is, "The Wi-Fi isn't working." In today's world, we all need internet. If you get to your room and the Wi-Fi isn't connecting, don't hesitate to call the front desk. You say, hello, this is room 312. The Wi-Fi isn't working. Can you help me? They'll either give you instructions to reconnect or send someone to fix it. You can also ask, what's the Wi-Fi password? When you first check in. These phrases keep you connected and make your stay much more convenient. Another useful phrase is, can I have extra towels, please? Sometimes the hotel doesn't provide enough towels or you just want extras. You can call the front desk and say, hi, this is room 425. Can I have extra towels, please? They'll send housekeeping to bring them to your room. You can replace towels with pillows, blankets, or hangers. It's all about making your stay as comfortable as possible. Let's practice a hotel conversation. Imagine you've just arrived at your hotel after a long flight. You walk up to the front desk and say, good evening. I have a reservation under the name Johnson. The receptionist responds, good evening, Mr. Johnson. Welcome. Can I see your ID and credit card, please? You hand them over and say, here you go. What time is breakfast served? The receptionist replies, breakfast is from 7 to 10 in the dining area on the first floor. You ask, great. Can I also have a wake-up call at 6:30, please? The receptionist smiles and says, of course. Here's your room key. You're in room 515 on the 5th floor. Enjoy your stay. You say, thank you so much. This entire conversation shows you how easy it is to check in and get the information you need. Now let's talk about restaurants. Eating out is one of the best parts of traveling. These phrases will help you order food and enjoy your meals without any stress. The first phrase is, can I see the menu, please? When you sit down at a restaurant, sometimes the waiter doesn't immediately bring the menu. You can politely ask, excuse me, can I see the menu, please? They'll bring it right over. It's simple and gets you started. Another essential phrase is, I'd like to order, please. Once you've looked at the menu and decided what you want, you need to let the waiter know you're ready. When they come by, you say, I'd like to order, please. Then you tell them what you want. For example, I'd like the grilled chicken with vegetables, please. This phrase shows you're ready and makes the ordering process smooth. Here's one that many travelers need. Do you have a vegetarian option? Or you might say, do you have a vegan option? If you have dietary restrictions or preferences, it's important to ask. You say, excuse me, do you have a vegetarian option? The waiter will tell you which dishes are vegetarian or suggest something. You can also ask, is this dish gluten-free? Or does this contain nuts? These questions keep you safe and ensure you enjoy your meal. A very common phrase is, can I have the check, please? In American English, we say check. In British English, they say bill. When you've finished eating and you're ready to pay, you get the waiter's attention and say, excuse me, can I have the check, please? They'll bring it to your table. You can also say, can we pay now, please? Both are polite and clear. Another useful one is service included? In many countries, the tip or service charge is already included in the bill. In others, it's not. To avoid confusion, you can ask, excuse me, is service included? Or is the tip included? The waiter will tell you yes or no, and then you'll know whether to leave an additional tip. This helps you avoid over-tipping or under-tipping. Here's a phrase for when something isn't quite right. Excuse me, I didn't order this. Mistakes happen. Sometimes the waiter brings the wrong dish. If that happens, stay calm and polite. You say, excuse me, I didn't order this. I ordered the pasta. The waiter will apologize and bring you the correct dish. It's a simple and respectful way to handle the situation. Let's practice a restaurant conversation. Imagine you're sitting at a nice restaurant. The waiter approaches and says, good evening. Are you ready to order? You reply, yes, I'd like to order, please. I'll have the salmon with rice. Do you have a vegetarian option as well? My friend is vegetarian. The waiter responds, yes, we have a vegetarian pasta and a veggie burger. You say, great, we'll take the vegetarian pasta. Also, can we have some water, please? The waiter nods and says, of course. I'll bring that right away. Later, when you're finished, you say, excuse me, can I have the check, please? The waiter brings it and you ask, is service included? The waiter replies, yes, service is included. You smile and say, thank you. This conversation shows you exactly how to handle a meal from start to finish. Now let's talk about asking for directions. When you're exploring a new city, you'll often need help finding places. The most common phrase is, "Excuse me, how do I get to the museum?" You can replace museum with any destination: the train station, the park, the hotel, the beach. Imagine you're walking down the street and you're lost. You stop someone and say, "Excuse me, how do I get to the train station?" They might say, "Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn right." Or they might say, "It's about a 10-minute walk that way." This phrase is your best friend when traveling. Another helpful phrase is it far from here?" After someone gives you directions, you might want to know the distance. You ask, "Is it far from here?" They'll tell you no, it's very close, just 5 minutes, or yes, it's pretty far. You might want to take a taxi. This helps you decide whether to walk or take transportation. Here's a great one. Can you show me on the map? If you have a map on your phone or a paper map and the directions are confusing, you can say, "Can you show me on the map?" Most people are happy to help. They'll point to where you are and where you need to go. This makes everything so much clearer. Another useful phrase is, "Where is the nearest ATM?" You might need cash while traveling. If you're not sure where to find an ATM, you can ask anyone, "Excuse me, where is the nearest ATM?" They'll point you in the right direction. You can replace ATM with pharmacy, supermarket, coffee shop, or anything else you need. This phrase is incredibly versatile. A common one is, "How much does a taxi cost to the airport?" Before getting in a taxi, especially in a new city, it's smart to ask about the price. You can ask the driver or someone at your hotel, "How much does a taxi cost to the airport?" They'll give you an estimate. You can also say, "How much is a taxi to downtown?" This helps you budget and avoid being overcharged. Here's one more. Is there a bus that goes there? Public transportation is often cheaper than taxis. If you want to save money, you can ask, "Excuse me, is there a bus that goes to the city center?" People will tell you which bus number to take and where the bus stop is. You can also ask, "How often does the bus run?" Or "How much is the bus fare?" These questions make using public transportation easy and stress-free. Let's practice a conversation about directions. Imagine you're standing outside your hotel and you want to visit a famous landmark. You stop a friendly local and say, "Excuse me, how do I get to the cathedral?" The local responds, "Oh, it's not far. Go straight down this street for about 3 blocks, then turn left. You'll see it on your right." You ask, "Is it far from here?" They say, "No, it's only about a 10-minute walk." You smile and say, "Great, thank you." "Can you show me on the map just to be sure?" The local points to your phone and shows you the route. You say, "Perfect. Thank you so much for your help." They reply, "You're welcome. Enjoy your visit." This simple conversation shows you how easy it is to ask for and receive help when you're traveling. Let's add a few more essential phrases that will come in handy during your travels. One important phrase is, "Can you speak more slowly, please?" Sometimes people speak very fast, especially native speakers. If you don't understand, don't be shy. Just say, "I'm sorry, can you speak more slowly, please?" People will slow down and repeat what they said. This phrase shows confidence and helps you communicate better. Another important one is, "I don't understand. Can you repeat that?" It's okay not to understand everything. If someone says something and you're confused, you say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. Can you repeat that?" They'll say it again, maybe in a simpler way. This keeps the conversation going and shows you're trying your best. Here's one for shopping. How much does this cost? When you see something you like in a store, you want to know the price. You pick it up and ask the salesperson, "Excuse me, how much does this cost?" They'll tell you the price. You can also say, "How much is this?" Both are correct and commonly used. A useful phrase is, "Do you accept credit cards?" Not every place takes credit cards, especially small shops or markets. Before you buy something, you can ask, "Do you accept credit cards?" If they say no, you'll know you need to pay with cash. You can also ask, "Do you take American Express?" or whatever card you have. Here's one for emergencies. I need a doctor. If you get sick or hurt while traveling, you need help fast. You can go to your hotel front desk or ask someone on the street, "Excuse me, I need a doctor. Where is the nearest hospital?" People will help you immediately. You can also say, "I need a pharmacy," or "Where is the emergency room?" These phrases can be lifesavers. Another good one is, "Can you call a taxi for me?" Sometimes it's hard to find a taxi, or you don't know how to call one. You can ask your hotel receptionist or a restaurant host, "Can you call a taxi for me, please?" They'll do it for you and tell you when it arrives. It's convenient and takes the stress away. Here's one more. What do you recommend? When you're at a restaurant and you're not sure what to order, you can ask the waiter, "What do you recommend?" They'll suggest their most popular or best dishes. This is a great way to try something new and delicious. Let's do one more longer conversation that brings many of these phrases together. Imagine you're at a train station in a foreign country. You walk up to the ticket counter and say, "Hello, I'd like to buy a ticket to Paris, please." The agent responds, "Sure. When would you like to travel?" You reply, "Today if possible." "What time is the next train?" The agent checks the computer and says, "The next train is at 3:15. It arrives in Paris at 6:30. You ask, "How much does the ticket cost?" The agent says it's €75. You ask, "Do you accept credit cards?" The agent nods and says, "Yes, we do." You hand over your card and say, "Great, I'll take it." The agent processes your payment and hands you the ticket, saying, "Here's your ticket." The train leaves from platform 5. You ask, "Excuse me, where is platform 5? The agent points and says, "Go down the stairs and turn right. You'll see the signs." You smile and say, "Thank you so much for your help." The agent replies, "You're welcome. Have a great trip." This entire conversation shows you how to buy a train ticket, ask important questions, and get the help you need. Now let's talk about some polite phrases that will make every interaction better. One of the most important is, "Thank you so much." You'll use this phrase constantly while traveling. After someone helps you, gives you directions, brings you food, or does anything kind, you say, "Thank you so much." It shows appreciation and respect. You can also say, "Thanks a lot," or simply, "Thank you." Another polite phrase is, "Excuse me." You use this to get someone's attention politely. Before asking a question, you say, "Excuse me, can you help me?" Or, "Excuse me, where is the restroom?" It's a simple phrase, but it makes you sound respectful and polite. Here's one more, "I'm sorry." If you make a mistake, bump into someone, or need to interrupt, you say, "I'm sorry." For example, if you accidentally step on someone's foot, you immediately say, "I'm sorry." Or if you need to ask someone to move, you say, "I'm sorry, can I get through?" This small phrase makes a big difference. A helpful phrase is, "Could you help me, please?" When you need assistance, this is a polite and friendly way to ask. You might say, "Excuse me, could you help me with my luggage, please?" Or, "Could you help me find this address, please?" People are usually happy to help when you ask politely. Here's one that shows patience. "No problem." When someone thanks you or apologizes to you, you can respond with "no problem." For example, if someone says, "Sorry for the wait," you reply, "No problem." It shows you're relaxed and understanding. You'll also hear and use, "You're welcome." After someone thanks you, this is the perfect response. If you hold the door for someone and they say, "Thank you," you reply, "You're welcome." It completes the polite exchange and makes both people feel good. Let's bring everything together with one final, complete conversation that uses phrases from every part of your trip. Imagine you're traveling from New York to London. You arrive at the airport and walk to the check-in counter. You say, "Good morning. I'd like to check in, please." The agent responds, "Good morning. Passport, please." You hand it over and ask, "Can I have a window seat, please?" The agent types and says, "Sure, here's your boarding pass. Gate A7. Boarding starts at noon." You say, "Thank you. Where is gate A7? The agent points and says, "Go through security, then turn left." You say, "Thanks so much." You go through security, then walk to your gate. You sit and wait until boarding begins. On the plane, you settle into your seat. A flight attendant walks by and you say, "Excuse me, can I have some water, please?" She brings it and you say, "Thank you." After a long flight, you arrive in London. You take a taxi to your hotel. At the front desk, you say, "Hello, I have a reservation under the name Carter." The receptionist smiles and says, "Welcome, Mr. Carter. Here's your key." Room 212, you ask, "What time is breakfast served?" She replies, "From 7 to 10 in the dining room." You say, "Great, thank you." The next morning, you go out to explore. You stop someone on the street and say, "Excuse me, how do I get to Big Ben?" They give you directions. You say, "Thank you so much." Later, you go to a restaurant. You sit down and say, "Can I see the menu, please?" After ordering and eating, you say, "Can I have the check, please?" You pay and leave. This entire journey shows you how all these phrases work together to make traveling smooth, enjoyable, and stress-free. Congratulations! You've just learned 50 essential English phrases for traveling. These phrases will help you at the airport, on the plane, at the hotel, in restaurants, and everywhere you go. The key is to practice them before you travel. Say them out loud. Write them down. Use them in your head. Imagine yourself in these situations. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. Remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Don't be afraid to speak. People appreciate when you try, and most will be happy to help you. Every time you use one of these phrases, you're improving, you're becoming more fluent, you're gaining confidence, and that feeling is amazing. If you enjoyed this lesson and found it helpful, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and reach more learners like you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We upload a brand new English lesson every single day, and I don't want you to miss any of them. Share this video with your friends, your family, anyone who's learning English or planning to travel. Learning together makes it even more fun. Remember, learning English is a journey, not a race. Every phrase you learn is a step forward. Every conversation you have is progress. Be proud of yourself for watching this video and taking the time to improve. You're doing an amazing job. Keep practicing these phrases. Use them in real life. And most importantly, believe in yourself. You've got this. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.